Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Ginger Pierce, and I am one of the travel agents with Marvelous Mouse Travels. We are the agency that runs this Facebook group, as long as many others, all focused on different destinations. And welcome to Sundays with MMT. This is a weekly live agent panel discussion that we do in one of our groups every week. And this week, we are excited to get to talk to you about destination weddings. So, if you know someone who has recently gotten engaged, we would love it if you would tag them in the comments of this video or if you would share this video with them. And if you have recently gotten engaged, we're really excited to answer some questions for you tonight. So we have a lot of information that we're going to share with you, but we are going to reserve some time at the end of the video to take any questions that we have. So feel free at any point to just go ahead and drop those questions into the comments, and we will get to all of those. We are actually going live using a platform called StreamYard this evening. And StreamYard, if you want to post a comment, may ask you to approve it showing your username and profile picture. Just know that you can decline that permission and still post that question anonymously, and we will still be able to address it for you. But I am joined tonight by two amazing Marvelous Mouse Travels agents. Ladies, thank you so much for being here tonight. And please take just a second to tell everybody your name, how long you've been with the agency, and what's the best way for people to contact you if they're interested in planning a destination wedding.
Hey everyone, I'm Megan Quinnup. I have been with Marvelous Mouse Travels just over 3 years. The best way to contact me is on my Facebook page through Facebook Messenger. It's facebook.com/MeganGMMT.
Hi, my name is Bobby Joe, and I have been with Marvelous Mouse Travels for 3 years. I am a master planner, and I have planned a couple destination weddings. The best way to contact me on Instagram is at Travelista Bobby Joe.
And again, I am Ginger Pierce. I have been with the agency for almost 3 years, and the best way to get in touch with me is to actually go to my link tree, which is gingermmt.com. So, ladies, we are in the midst of engagement season right now. I was actually looking this up just the other day, and statistically, more people get engaged between the months of December and March than they do at any other point in the year. So it's the perfect time to be talking about a destination wedding. And I know that both of you have planned your fair share of destination weddings. So, in your opinion, based on your experience, what do you see as the greatest benefit to planning a destination wedding as opposed to a wedding a little closer to home?
Do you want to go first, Bobby?
Sure. So I would say there's a lot of different reasons. One, maybe it's possibly your second wedding and you're looking for a smaller crowd to come. And it's just more convenient. It's more personable for those that are coming on maybe your second wedding. Another reason might be my brother-in-law was going to plan a destination wedding because their families were from two separate areas and they couldn't decide which location to have the wedding in. And so just instead of deciding on, maybe one family's having it in that location or having it in the other family's location, everybody was going to have to travel and do a destination wedding. So those are two reasons I think it could be a good idea to have a destination wedding.
So another thing that I find with brides that I've worked with is some of them don't want all of the stress of planning a hometown wedding. They want to just be able to kind of say, come here at this day and this time and celebrate with us, and let the wedding planners at the resorts do a lot more. And some of it has to do with budget too. When you have a wedding in your hometown, a lot of times you have, at least when I got married, right? Like my in-laws gave me a list of people, my parents gave me a list of people, and then my husband and I had a list of people we wanted to invite. And then we're kind of like, we paid for it. So we're like, okay, what can we afford? So at a destination wedding, depending on where you get married, that cost, sometimes the wedding's completely free. Sometimes that cost is cut down based on the number of guests that you have. And like Bobby we were actually chatting before the show about how, it kind of cuts down on that guest list for you. The people that really want to be there are going to be the ones that make the trip.
Absolutely. That's definitely true. And I remember, I did not have a destination wedding. I had a hometown wedding. And I do remember the guest list being the most stressful aspect of that. It's just like, who makes the cut? You don't want to offend anybody. So
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
you out maybe a little bit like, oh, we're having it in Mexico or something, and you
Yes.
mentioned the people who love you are going to come. So.
My husband's dad has 6 siblings and my mom has 8 siblings. So trying to narrow that down makes it really difficult.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
is. And the best part about the destination wedding is that you can invite whoever you want. You can still invite all of those people, like all of your parents' siblings, but it's up to them to decide if they're going to come. And then it actually also kind of gives your guests an out as well. If it's not something like not an expense that they really want to incur, they can say no without sounding like a huge jerk or like a Debbie Downer,
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So one of the beauties of planning a destination wedding is that your options are so varied. You literally have kind of the world to look at, but that can make it a little difficult to kind of narrow down what's going to be the perfect place for your destination wedding. So what are some of your favorite locations for destination weddings and why do you love them?
Okay, I'll start first on this one. I went to Sandals Montego Bay on a training trip, on a FAM is what we call them, over Thanksgiving weekend. And we got to tour. First of all, they have this beautiful Serenity Wedding Chapel, which is ordained by the Catholic Church. So if you get married there, your marriage can be recognized by the Catholic Church if you're Catholic, which is important for a lot of people. In that wedding chapel, they just redid the inside and it's beautiful. They have a cross set in the background, the lighting, everything is stunning. And then probably my other favorite place, and I'm sure Bobby's going to agree with me on this one, is their over the water wedding chapel is just stunning. I mean, the views, they can open it up. There on the screen, you can see the beautiful waters. It is covered. So if the weather's not so nice, you're not going to be rained on. But all of those windows on the side are actually doors that can open up and you can have the breeze flowing through. The altar is beautiful. And the bride literally walks over the water on those glass panels as she walks down the aisle. Those are probably 2 of my favorites.
Yeah, I think it kind of depends on what you want. Are you wanting white sandy beaches in the background? Are you wanting like a garden look? Like Megan said, are you wanting an overwater bungalow where you have the glass bottom floors? So I think, when I'm sitting down to meet with a bride to talk about destinations, we're talking about one, location of flights as well is a big question because do you want a flight that you're going to have to fly and stay the night to get there? Or do you want something that you can get there within, 5 to 6 hours, depending on where you're coming from? And so I kind of start there, depending on how many guests they're going to have. And then we talk about, okay, what kind of wedding do you want? What kind of background, what kind of setting do you want to have that in? I have planned 2 in Jamaica, one at Negril and one at Montego Bay. And like Megan said, I went to Montego Bay in 2019 and it is beautiful. I mean, the beaches are white. The water is blue. You couldn't ask for a better place. So not to kind of jump on that bandwagon as well, but I would say Jamaica is probably my favorite place to have a wedding right now.
Same. I've planned a wedding in Jamaica and at Montego Bay. And my bride got married in the chapel, in the Serenity Chapel. And it was beautiful. And she picked that location because she wanted more of a church feel, but not to be at home. And then I have a bride getting married on the beach in Punta Cana in June at the Breathless Resort there. And it's beautiful. But I've had brides come to me. I have one that I'm working with right now who wants a garden location. We're looking in Mexico. We're looking in Tulum, various resorts. It also depends on, are you going to invite kids or are you not going to invite kids? And I don't know if you got into that. If we get into that later, I don't remember. But
let's go ahead and talk about it now. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, it definitely determines what destination you're going to go to. So like Bobby said, I start with, what are you looking for with the feel of your wedding? Do you want a beach? Do you want a garden? Do you want it feeling like you're in a church? Where are you looking at for your reception? How many people are you having? What is your vision for your wedding? Because even though you're having a destination wedding, you still have a say in all of the things. I mean, each of the resorts, regardless of what brand it is, they're going to let you pick your flowers and your table settings. And I mean, really everything. The big difference is that instead of you coordinating it all yourself, like I did, talking to the chair cover people and the tablecloths and in the restaurant, the cater, like all of that, it's all done at one location and it all funnels through us and the wedding planner. So, and we don't stand in your way of any of those decisions. I may have my bride in June has a lot of questions about, as she's filling out this packet of, preferences. We talk almost every day about it, just as far as like, what type of music does she want at the reception and things like that. So they definitely, it's not like a destination wedding is going to be a cookie cutter. Everybody has the same ceremony. It truly is personalized to the bride and groom.
Absolutely. And I think that's important too, because you don't want to feel like your wedding is going to look like and feel like everybody else's wedding. You want it to be unique to you. And I love that you have those options. And yet you are working with people who do this all the time and, can have that just years worth of experience to share with you. Yeah, absolutely. Now, budget. We've kind of hinted at budget a couple of times, but let's really get into it because that's a big part of planning a wedding, obviously. So, which locations, in your opinion, give couples the best bang for their buck for their destination wedding?
I think we're all going to say Sandals or beaches. The great thing is they include a free wedding for a 3-night stay. So if you were going to take a honeymoon anyways and stay 3 nights somewhere at possibly a Sandals or Beaches resort, then you could get your wedding for free. And that is 100% free. You can get the basic wedding included in your package. There are upgrades that you can pay for, or you can increase your guest list and get those covered with the amount of people that you invite. So I definitely try to push that whenever there's a bride that comes to me, just because, like I said, it's free. And I don't know how much better to say that it's free 100%. And also Sandals and Beaches is amazing. Everything's included. So it's hard to beat that when sometimes you have those other things that start to nickel and dime you. And so Sandals and Beaches, taxes, gratuity, transfers, all that stuff you don't have to worry about. So.
Yep. And most, all the resorts will give you some sort of a group rate too, depending on the number of rooms of guests that you have that book. So they can get a discounted rate. It can get you free nights on your room. It all just depends on which brand, in which resort you go to. But I'm with Bobby. Sandals and Beaches to me is the best bang for your buck. Like she talked about the wedding, you can do. So for instance, my husband's in the Army. And our church wedding that we had with all of our family was actually our second wedding. We had a Justice of the Peace wedding July 1st of that year. I'd broken my leg and needed more health insurance because I'd quit my teaching job to move with him. So we got married initially. So for us at Sandals, we would have been a retie the knot. So we would have had a $300 fee, but that would have been totally worth it. There are other resorts, brides that I've worked with at other resorts, Breathless, Secrets, Dreams, they tend to charge, they're paying per person for food and stuff at the reception like you normally would, like with a hometown wedding. They're paying, their guests are, they're paying their room rate, but they're paying for transfers. They still have to, think about gratuities and things like that. So again, I'm just going to echo Bobby with Sandals and Beaches with their wedding program that they have with that free wedding for a 3-night stay.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really find anything more budget friendly than free, right?
Right.
Kind of good as it is. Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest. Sandals resorts are going to price out for your guests more expensive than some of those other resorts. So as a bride and groom, one of the things that we talk about is, are you willing to absorb more of the cost and have more people come? Or do you want to get married in a spot where it's going to cost you less and maybe less people come. But most of my bride and grooms, like especially when it comes to room staying, they're way more than the 3 nights because it's their wedding and their honeymoon. So, but a lot of the guests just seem to tend to stay 3 or 4 nights. But yeah, they often take their guests into account too when they're thinking about budget.
And speaking of guests, can you get special group rates or discounts for destination weddings?
Yeah, so depending on the time of year, and it depends on the resort as well, but like with Sandals and Beaches, depending on the time of year, it's 6 or more rooms for that bride and groom, or 12 or more rooms. Again, it just depends on the season and what time of year it is. But with that, typically, I think Megan mentioned this already, but it will take the lowest costing room off the bride and groom's room. And so my guests, or my bride that got married in 2009, they had 12 rooms that booked with them. And so they got their room for free. Plus they had tons of bells and whistles included, which included an upgrade on a cake. They ended up getting like a spa day for the bridesmaids. The groomsmen had, I don't know, it was like a cigar night or something like that. They had a cocktail reception. So they got a lot of these extra things included because they had 12 rooms. But again, it just depends on the time of year. And I think it really just depends on that resort and what they're offering. But with a free, I can't say it anymore, but with a 3 nights free wedding, then it's just, I feel like you can definitely mold it to benefit the bride and groom even more just by trying to get more guests to come with you.
Yeah, and then there are other resorts that'll give discounted rates for the guest rooms as far as like a block of rooms go. It all just kind of depends though. Some of them will have you sign a contract where the bride and groom, if you think you're going to have 20 rooms and you have your 20 rooms, if you don't book the 20 rooms, you might owe the difference. I mean, so I highly recommend using a travel agent who knows what they're doing to guide you through this process, because you can go and book a destination wedding on your own, just like you can go and sell your house on your own. But when you sell your house, you're going to do a much better job, or buy a house or build a house, right, Bobby? If you have a realtor to help you, somebody who's experienced. I could stand in the mirror and cut my hair by myself. I would much rather go to a hairdresser. You know what I mean? So, I mean,
Right.
we do trainings, we do on-site trainings, we do remote trainings. I highly recommend that even if you don't book with one of us, you book with the travel agent who is going to help guide you through all these things and point out things that you wouldn't think of, especially when it comes to group rates, discounts for the bride and groom, things like that. Because, like Bobby said, mention the bells and whistles with sandals, you could look at that sheet and read it and probably have no idea what they're talking about. We, however, have done trainings on it, sat through workshops, visited the resorts, toured the areas that you can get married. And so we have a much better idea of how to help you have the most relaxing and wonderful wedding you can have.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point, because who wants to be stressed on their wedding day, right? Let somebody who's done this a lot of different times walk you through that process. Yeah.
And if you want, we will come to your wedding.
Yeah. Oh,
and
absolutely.
Help you.
Yes. Twist our arms. We'll spend a few days in paradise.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll suffer, right? We'll suffer.
Right.
So, that was really my last question, is what can travel agents do to help couples? But Megan, you answered that beautifully.
Sorry.
No, that's great. It was such a natural flow. I'm glad you brought that up. Is there anything we want to add to that as to, what a travel agent can do that we haven't already covered?
I was just going to piggyback on that. Like, there are certain resorts that if you book between different windows, you can get extras added on, like spa treatments, or I know Sandals and Beaches offers like a try it before you buy it. And so those are certain things that, your travel agent knows their way around getting those for you, because sometimes, like Megan was saying, if you don't read all the details, you don't read the fine print, you miss out on those opportunities. And so those are things that I make sure when I'm booking a wedding that I'm looking for all the deals that I possibly could get and offer for that client, so that they are getting the most bang for their buck. Even though, yes, it's a free wedding, we still want to make sure that we're getting the extras for them whenever they are booking that destination wedding.
Absolutely. And, especially I think over the last year, the value of working with a travel agent, whether it's on a destination wedding or any vacation, has really just been demonstrated time and time again, because the world of travel is constantly changing. Regulations are constantly changing, particularly pertaining to international travel. And so if you are getting married outside of the US, you need to be aware of testing requirements and everything like that. And it is a travel agent's job to stay up on those details and be able to advise on that type of stuff. And as much as, we're hoping life goes back to normal quickly, the fact of the matter is we don't know tomorrow, and we can't, predict what it's going to look like 6 months to a year from now. And so just having somebody in your corner whose job it is to keep up with that stuff, I think would just be another added layer of peace of mind for you as a traveler, and definitely for you as a bride or groom. Yeah.
And I do want to mention, I know that we focused a lot on international all-inclusive destinations for destination weddings, but destination weddings can be within the US too. I mean, it just means that you're not getting married in your hometown. You could get married at the beach in North or South Carolina, Florida, California. You get married at Disney World, Disneyland when it's open. I mean, we deal with all of these. Like, it is not that we just do destination weddings in in Mexico and the Caribbean. I've had a bride go and get married in Italy. And so my planning was more focused on the travel and getting her guests there, but it doesn't just have to be the Caribbean too. It literally just clicked in my mind as we're talking about this. We really have focused on all inclusives, but there are plenty of other destinations. Again, like I said, Disney World being a huge one, where having a travel agent in your corner is, in my opinion, 100% necessary. There are a lot of brides who contact different places and don't hear back as fast, but we have other contacts that we can reach out to get an answer sooner. We have relationships with these vendors. We have relationships with these various resorts where, should something happen while you're there that you're not pleased with, you let us know, we problem solve for you so that you can continue enjoying your lead up to your wedding and your honeymoon. And you can let us take care of all of the things that might possibly worry you, weather, travel regulations, canceled flights. I mean, I could go on and on, but really, it's good to have someone in your corner both before and during travel.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Sorry, I have one more thing to add to that. I know that part of the stress of planning a destination wedding is getting all of the other rooms booked. And so that's something that I know we offer with, as soon as they send out their invitation, there's a link to contact me. And then that way the bride doesn't have to worry about making sure all the rooms are connected and making sure that they're all close by, or that they're all, kind of in the same category, and making sure that, everything's taken care of on that end. She doesn't have to worry about that. That's something that we can do for them. So I know my brides have always appreciated that, not having to think about, their guests. They're really just focused on their day and what they're going to do.
Yeah. And coordinating flights too, not having to worry about any of that either. Yeah.
Yep. Yes. And I always send my bride an email and let her know, my bride's an email, and say, hey, just so you're tracking, X, Y, and Z have booked rooms, just in case that RSVP piece falls a little bit, where they just come, and some people will just come right to me and book the room and then kind of forget to tell the bride and groom that they're going. So weekly I send them an update and I'm like, here's who I booked this week. Have a good weekend,
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's all that I have in terms of questions for you guys. So let's turn to our comments and see if we have had any questions. I think I see a few that have come through in here. Oh, hello. Thank you for watching. Awesome. Hopefully we gave you a lot of good information. Hi, Chrissy. Here's a great question. Are there different locations on a Sandals and Beaches resort that you can have the ceremony? For example, in a beach, a garden. I'll let you guys take that.
There are a bunch of different destinations. We touched a little bit on beach, on a garden, on the different wedding chapels. There are also gazebos located in different areas around the resorts, and some of them are in more of a garden setting. Some of them are, out to the water. You just don't have that over the water. The glass floors is like the over the water bungalows or over the water chapel has. Sorry, those have them too, but the over the water wedding chapel. But there are plenty of locations inside and outside for you to get married in. We can pretty much find something to suit anybody's taste.
For sure. And that overwater the bungalow would be beautiful for your honeymoon.
Yes, for your honeymoon. Yes, for sure.
That out there. Yeah. Do you choose the theme or decor?
Yep. So it really just depends on your location or the vendor that you decide to book with. And so I know we keep talking about sandals, but they have like the basic package. And so I think they have 3 options you can choose from with the free, or you can definitely pay to upgrade, and really sky's the limit. Their decorations are amazing. And I'm sure, at Disney World, you can choose the theme and decor as well. It really just depends on where you're going to decide to go. But if this specific question was talking about sandals because it was free, I think they have 3 color schemes that are basic, maybe 4. And then after that, you either have enough guests to get it for free, or you upgrade and pay the difference.
Well, and at Sandals too, Sandals and Beaches, they have a great program where you can test drive your wedding for a very minimal fee. You can fly down and stay a few nights. You can meet with the wedding planner. You can check out all of these things. And they do ask that you arrive, is it 3 days before your wedding? So you have your arrival day, and then, you have a couple days to go through and look at all of that. And it's not like you have to wait for things to come in. Like, they have it all there. It's all clean and pressed and ready. And whatever you choose, they will put out for you. There's different style chairs. There's, you can have like the bamboo ones. You can have just regular chairs with table covers or chair covers on them. It's really, the sky's the limit. Yes, like here. Those are some of those. It looks like they're like the white bamboo chairs with the chair covers over. You can pick your centerpieces, your charger, your place settings. It's beautiful. And then if we wanted to talk Disney World and Disneyland, Disney World in particular, because it's so large, you can choose to have your wedding at the wedding pavilion at the Grand Floridian. You can choose really to have it pretty much anywhere you want on property. You can get married in front of Cinderella's castle. It's going to cost you a lot of money. That's definitely not free. Yes, there you go, Cinderella's castle. But you can have your reception there. You can have your reception at any of the ballrooms on property. You can have it on the beach, the Polynesian. You can have, you can have it at Animal Kingdom or Epcot, or really any of the parks. Truly, the sky's the limit. With any of these destination weddings, it really is just up to you and your budget and what you want for your wedding.
One of our agents actually got married at the boardwalk. At the Disney's boardwalk, they've got like this little pavilion area right there in front of the water, and she got married there. And so it's cool. Like, every time we're there and we walk past it, I'll like send her a message like, "I am where you got married." So that was,
and I think she had her,
and
I think she had a reception in Epcot, right? And Mickey and Minnie were there. Or am I kidding?
I don't remember.
I think so. We've had a few agents get married at Disney World. Another one had her wedding at the Grand Floridian at the wedding pavilion. And then I don't remember where her reception was. But you can have Mickey and Minnie come in their wedding attire and see you if you want to get married at Disney World. So, you're not going to get Mickey and Minnie at Sandals and Beaches. You could at Beaches, you could maybe get some Sesame Street characters. But, and I did just want to say one more time too, that, you can absolutely have a destination wedding at a family-friendly resort, especially like Bobby mentioned, if it's your second wedding. They have kids clubs that the kids can go to and play during the day. You can invite, your siblings and their kids or not. It's up to you, but you're not limited to adults only. You can, if you want to, but you're not limited to it.
That's a great point too. Let's see here. Oh, awesome. Good. Awesome. Yes, I completely agree. Have somebody there to help you navigate all of it. All right. Well, I think that's it. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Bobby Joe and Megan. I really appreciate you taking the time out to talk and share your expertise. And thank all of you who have been watching for joining us tonight as well. We had a lot of fun chatting with you about destination weddings. And if you would like more information about planning your destination wedding or any vacation from the agents that you heard from tonight, feel free to go ahead and reach out to us directly. Remember, our planning services are always completely free when you book through us, and booking through us is the same price as booking directly through the vendor. We are actually going to be live next Sunday night in our Universal Orlando group talking about the premier on-site resorts at Universal Orlando. And then the week after that, which is actually Valentine's Day, we will be live in our Disney World group giving an overview of the deluxe properties there. And so we would love it if you would take the time to spend some time with us the next couple of weeks at 8 p.m. Eastern. So thank you again for joining us tonight. We hope to see you again soon for another episode of Sundays with MMT. Bye, everybody.
Bye.